for our very next guest, I'm super excited. He's already turned on his camera. Hi, Lawrence. So for those of you who don't know Lawrence, he's the head of human resources and training from Remax Malta. Hi, Lawrence. You can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hey Haley, how are you?
Doing well. So great to have you with us today. So I know that
Thank you.
Remax Malta has actually been focusing on customer experience for quite some time now, and you guys have had really great results so far. I know that you've been working on listing quality, but you and I had a chance to catch up a little bit about the topic of customer experience and why focusing on this topic in particular can have such a big impact on an agent's business. Could you share with us a little bit about your insight as head trainer for Remax Malta? Why is customer experience so important?
Hi everybody. Thank you for having me first of all. Thanks, Haley. I think customer service is important. I tell you why. If I can use my personal experience prior to real estate, we've all had histories. I had worked in hotels for many years, all over the world, from Africa to America to Asia and so forth. And I remember working in the hotels, and I remember when the VIPs used to come in, or the chairman of the company, or the owner of X used to come in, and the manager used to run around like crazy, like, hey, this is a VIP, make sure you take care of him. You know, this guy gets any table he wants, or if he goes to the restaurant, he can have anything that he wants. And all the other clients, and this was honestly a mentality for, I think, many years in the hotel industry across the world. It wasn't just one country. And it was almost like a regular client, he would walk in and they didn't get what they wanted, whereas the VIP client was treated so differently. And I never really understood that because I felt like it was so unfair. Now, in terms of business growth and referral base, if you look at some recent studies, and I love studies, and there was a recent study done in Harvard, and what they had said is that 95% of customers who get great customer service would always recommend a brand. 94% of customers who get very good customer service would also recommend a brand. 96% who get very good customer service would trust the brand. 75% of customers who get good customer service would always forgive a brand if a mistake was made. However, only 14% of people would forgive a brand if a mistake was made, but there was poor customer service.
Yeah.
So I think just numbers alone, I really think, I mean, for me, it's a belief that every client of ours, it's a fundamental right for them to receive fantastic customer service. And I believe as agents, managers, trainers, coaches, it's a fundamental right for us to give great internal customer service. So I'm not just the customers, as in the buyers, sellers, the tenants, the landlords. I'm also talking about each other. It's our right to give everyone great customer service. So I think if we internally give it, I think it's a lot easier for the NDIE, the agents, to pass it on to our clients. So I think giving great customer service, I don't think it's something that is an option. I just think, as I said, it's a right that we have to give. And I think if we do that with enough passion, it comes across as, hey, listen, I trust this guy, I trust this young lady. You know, this is what I get, and I think it's just honest.
Yeah. And now you're the head of the Remax Malta Academy. I'm responsible for training on a Remax Europe level. So we are both educators. And you and I had a conversation a few weeks ago. We were talking about customer experience. And you actually said to me, it's so important making sure that you educate the buyer or seller about the sales process in the beginning of the business relationship. Could you share with our audience here today a little bit more about the role of an educator?
Yeah, sure. I do believe that sometimes I think, as especially as agents, they have a tendency to when we're taking out a client, believe it's sort of the client knows exactly what's going on, and we just expect them to know, and they don't. And believe it or not, I think education and educating the customer is paramount. I'll give you an example. We have in Malta back in 2020, the 1st of January, a new law was adopted in Malta where as tenants, so if you have a buyer who wants to buy for an investment or a tenant who wants to rent a property, there was a lot of stipulations of who and can rent and what they can rent and for how long they can rent it for. So as a buyer, if you were buying a property to rent it out as an investment, you really need to know this. So I think for the longest time, it was just assumed that clients know what's going on. And during this new law, there was a lot of confusion about, hey, wait a minute, the government just put this new law in, what do we do? So I think that was the one point where I think people realized how education is key, not just internally, but externally. For example, if any of you who are on this chat right now came to Malta to rent a property, certain individuals couldn't legally rent a property, but the landlord or the owner of the property wouldn't necessarily know that they couldn't rent it to you. So as agents, it's our job to educate them as to why and who they can rent it to. And I think education goes a long way in, again, back to customer service, goes a long way in building trust. It's industry. So I think education is important in any walk of life, but especially in this industry. I hope that answers your
Absolutely,
question.
absolutely. Because if I take it a step further, if you are educating the consumer about, legal changes, as in your example, or what the sales process looks like, closing costs for a first-time buyer, it
Yeah.
becomes much more transparent. And if you're being honest and transparent, then it's a relationship built on trust. And that's how you get the referral at the end.
Absolutely. Hayley, if I can, I just finished a session today, and one of the agents would say, like, why should we tell clients everything about the property, for example? And I was talking about transparency. And one of the things I said, if you're taking a client, it's not enough to look up at left and right. You've got to look up and down. You've got to look at the whole picture, especially when you walk into the property. And when you're transparent, when you're completely open to a client, you'll let them know, hey, I'm not here to get any from you. I'm here to help you. I think it immediately it creates a bond that's really hard to get any other way.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Lawrence, this was actually the perfect segue into our next guest. So I want to thank you so much for taking the time to join us on our spotlight session. I hope you have a great rest of the day. It was a pleasure chatting with you about education, and really looking forward to seeing all the great things you're going to be doing for RE/MAX Academy in Malta.
Great. Thanks, Hayley.